Among the Hidden, Chapter 6. The tax bill arrived 2 weeks later, the day that Dad, Matthew, and Mark loaded the hogs onto the livestock trailer and took them all away. Most were going to the slaughterhouse. The ones too young and too small to bring a decent price were going to an auction for feeder pigs. Luke watched through the vent at the front of the house as Dad drove by in the battered pickup with each load. Matthew and Mark sat in the back of the pickup, making sure the trailer stayed hitched right. Even 3 stories up, Luke could see Matthew's hangdog expression. Then, when the 3 of them came into the house for dinner, after washing the last of the hog smell off their hands in the mudroom, Dad handed Mother the tax bill without comment. She put down the wooden spoon she'd been using to stir the stew and unfolded the letter, and then she dropped it. Why, that's... She seemed to be doing the math in her head as she bent to retrieve it. That's 3 times what it usually is. There must be a mistake. Dad shook his head grimly. No mistake. I talked to Williker at the auction. The Willikers were their nearest neighbors, with the house 3 miles down the road. Luke always pictured them with monster scales and fierce claws because of the number of times he'd been cautioned, "You don't want the Willikers to see you." Dad went on. Williker said they raised everyone's taxes because of them fancy houses. Makes our land worth more. Isn't that good? Luke asked eagerly. It was strange. He should hate the new houses for replacing his woods and forcing him to stay indoors. But he'd have fallen in love with them, having watched every foundation poured, every wooden skeleton of walls and roofs raised to the sky. They were his main entertainment, aside from talking to Mother when she came upstairs for what she called my Luke breaks. Sometimes she pretended his room needed cleaning as badly as the bread needed baking or the garden needed weeding. Sometimes she just sat and talked. Dad was shaking in his head in disgust over Luke's question. No, it's only good if we're selling, and we ain't. All it means for us is the government thinks they can get more money out of us. Matthew was slumped in the chair at the table. How are we going to pay, he asked. That's more than we got for all the hogs, and that was supposed to carry us through for a long time. Dad didn't answer. Even Mark, who normally had a smart alecky comeback for everything, was stupefied. Mother had turned her back to the stew. I got my work permit today, she said softly. The factory's hiring. If I get on there, I can maybe get an advance on my paycheck. Luke's jaw dropped. You can't go to work, he said. Who will? He wanted to say who will stay with me, who I talk to all day while everyone else is outside. But that seemed too selfish. Luke looked around. No one else looked surprised by Mother's news, so he shut his mouth. So if you're thinking what is the most important event that happened in that chapter, I'm thinking it's Mom trying to get a job because the tax bill is high.